Hi guys and welcome to the trading show. This week we are gonna talk about
markets. DAX hits fresh record high. Our portfolio, systems on DAX surge. Tip of the week, breakout on BTP future. And the weekly rollovers.
And if you are interested in systematic trading, then subscribe to our channel. I am Francesco Placci, Head of R&D at Unger Academy. Let's start from the market overview to see together what happened during the week. Good week for the markets. We see positive returns almost everywhere, excluding the metal sector. In particular, we can see the DAX future that was able to break the all-time highs and thus confirms itself as the strongest stock exchange compared to the American and the other European exchanges. The bond sector is also positive, the energy sector did well, all futures linked to the crude oil are in a strong bullish trend, this is crude oil and this is gasoline. As I said, negative returns for metals, positive returns also for mids, in particular Linox is at all-time highs. Positive returns also for soft commodities, with the exception of cocoa. As for cereals, here too we see only green signs. In particular, it is interesting to note the trend of bean oil, which is really in strong bullish trend. Bitcoin is slightly positive and seems to be consolidating around this area, as I pointed out last week. As for the volatility, we see a slight increase in historical volatility on the DAX in the short term, but in the long term we note quite low values, with the only exception of the mini S&P. On the implied volatility front, there is not much to report. We see a term structure of the volatility indexes on the SPX well defined, they are in complete contango, therefore the volatility increases as we measure it on options with longer maturities. The VIX index is closer to the lows, so at the moment the situation seems to be absolutely calm on the stock markets. After seeing some key statistics on financial markets, and given the fact that automated traders also use this data to build their trading strategies, as usual, we will now take a look at our portfolio of trading strategies to see how systems have reacted to current market conditions.
Hello guys, from Alessandro Danos and welcome to this new appointment with the analysis of our portfolio. This week I want to talk about the DAX futures that has performed quite well during the last months, and in particular in the last week reached the all-time highs. And I want to show you two strategies that they are different between each other. The first one is a trend following strategy and the other one will be a bias strategy. We can start from this one. There is the trend following one, and in particular is we can say a little bit different from the normal breakout movements strategies, and in particular it enters when the market is going up from the open of the today's session, and vice versa for the short side. So if the market is going down, the strategy will try the short. We can have a look at the equity curve analysis and we can see that it is pretty good, and the strategy performed quite well during the last year. Of course, as always, we are also seeing some drawdowns, like in this period here, in these moments. The strategy is an intraday strategy, and it was developed on a 5-minute chart. We can see that the equity curve of the long side is pretty good, and also the equity curve on the short side is positive, we can say. It gains a little bit. Of course, this one is more volatile, we can say. But as we said before, the DAX has reached the new all-time highs, and so the short side is more difficult on this market. Now we can move to the next strategy that I want to show you, and it is a bias strategy that enters in the market at 5 p.m. in half past 5 p.m. and it closes the position the next day at the open of the market, the open that was prior the change in the hours calendar of the DAX, and it closes the position at 9 o'clock of the next day. The strategy is an only long strategy, and it performed really well during the last years, as we can see also from the strategy performance report. Of course, now the equity curve short is not present, and we can see that this one is the equity curve of the strategy. We can see that during March, April of last year, during the pandemic, the strategy, of course, performed quite really bad, we can say. Because of course the strategy enters only long, and this is not a good thing, of course, when a market is collapsing. Then recovered pretty fast, another drawdown, and now is reaching its new equity peaks. So guys, I recommend to trade this kind of strategy on this particular future. Because now more than ever this market is open, we can say, all day long. So it opens at 1 a.m. and it closes at 10 p.m. So it is open also during night hours. And this is positive because previously trading this strategy may lead to overnight gaps that could hurt, we can say, a lot. Instead, now that the market is open all day long and also during night hours, it's more difficult, complicated to see these kind of gaps, and so it's pretty safe to trade this strategy nowadays if compared to the past.
Hello everyone, and welcome from Andrea Nebbiolo. Today we will go back to the future world and we will have a look to the BTP future. BTP is a future product listed on the Eurex exchange. That is the most important derivative exchange in Europe, and it's a bond future. In this case we are talking about a bond future. In fact, the underlying is the BTP bond, so the Italian governative bond, with an average remaining years of 10. So the average remaining, the numbers of years to the expiration remaining is equal to 10, and it's calculated with considering a coupon with the 6% of return. And in this case, at Europe, some other futures are available for what regards the bonds. In fact, we can see here, for example, the Euro Schatz, the Bubble, the Bund, and all of these are German bond futures, also the Baxl, but as you can see here, the remaining term in years is completely different from a future to another future. So there are also some differences between the same bond types, and of course it creates, for this reason, we have different products. Also for the BTP, we have the short-term Euro BTP, the mid-term Euro BTP, and the long-term Euro BTP, for example. And in this case, today we are talking about the main one, so the long-term Euro BTP. And for what regards this product, the remaining term in years goes from 8.5 up to 11. So the average number of years to expiration, so remaining, on average, it's most likely 10 years. And as I said previously, it considers also a couponing percent of the 6%. And for what regards the main settings, the BTP, the long-term BTP is equal to the Bund. In fact, the value per point is equal to 1000 because the tick size is the 1% of the whole point, so it's 0.01 point, and the tick size value is equal to 10 euros. So the value of the entire point is equal to 1000 euro. But unlike the Bund, it has different trading hours. In fact, the trading hours in this case goes from 8 AM up to 7 PM in the evening. But let's go back to our multi-charts. As usual, I have created a script to analyze this market, and in this case I have created a script to buy at the breakout of the highest high within the latest NHL session. That is my input, and vice versa for what regards the short side. So we will calculate the lowest low of the latest NHL session. So this is my input again, and then we have an input for the time of the day, so to see when it's more profitable to operate, so in which phase of the trading session it's more it's worth to operate. And then I have optimized my inputs to discover which are the best results. And here, as you can see, there are so many configurations that are giving us quite nice results. But now to simplify and to remove some values with low average trade, so with unsustainable average trade, what you can do in this case is just to filter a little bit the results. So in this case, just for our analysis purpose, I will put a filter based on the average trade, and I will search only for average trade greater or equal than 60. And as you can see here, we have different results. I have already seen some of those values previously, and I want to show you, for example, what happens with NHL equal to 1. So creating the level for the entries and the exits on the latest one session. So we are considering both today's level and yesterday's levels. And now if I go into the chart here, into the report, here we are starting from 2019, so 2010 to be honest, because we have very few months for what regards 29. And as you can see, the equity curve is pretty nice. And if we go to have a look to the long side, it's quite good for being a very simple strategy at this stage of the development. For what regards the short side, is not that good. It had been good only in this phase, most probably because the underlying was not long at all. And if we go here to have a look to the buy and hold, we can see that in general the buy and hold is more bullish, and this is the reason why the long side it's much better than the short side. So here we can see that both long and short side are making money, so this is quite nice as a thing. But if we have a look to the long side, it's much more better than the short side. So because of this kind of market is not symmetrical, and it has a strong bias on the long side for what regards the buy and hold. It's also possible, in my opinion, to trade this kind of underlying only trading the long side.
Rollover calendar. Next week there will be the settlement date for European bond futures, primarily BTP and Bund. I also remind you that the following week there will be the expirations of stock index futures and currency futures, so as usual, towards the end of the next week, they have to be rolled. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn more about the trading method we at the Unger Academy use and teach our students, not to miss out on reading Andrea Unger's new book. It's called The Unger Method, the winning strategy of the four-time world trading champion. And in it, Andrea explains step by step the trading method that let him win 4 World Cup trading championships and that you too can use to improve your approach to the markets and achieve your trading goals. And the greatest thing is that now you can grab it for free by just paying for shipping and handling. In the book there is also a rich bonus area with links to videos reserved only for those who get the book. Don't miss the chance to take your trading to the next level. Click the link in this video and get your free copy of the Unger Method now. You pay only shipping and handling.